it really was the desire of my heart. I wanted, and I prayed for the Lord to give me an opportunity, put me in a situation where I could impact a lot of people for Him, for the kingdom. I just wanted to, leave a lasting impression that my life counted for something when it came to the work of the Lord. I just really wanted. I had a huge desire, and it was a extremely heartfelt, fervent prayer that I do something that would impact a large amount of people. And it wasn't but a year later, was it, honey? A year later, when I started having trouble with my balance, and then my legs, and it was just one thing after another, and started going to the doctor, and it was a year before I think it was close to a year before I actually started seeing a doctor, when my legs pretty much stopped working. My right leg pretty much stopped working, my foot did, and I started having major problems at walking with a cane, and I went to see the doctor, and a year after I started going to the doctor, they diagnosed me with ALS. A lot of people look at it and they say, oh, this is terrible, and how could this happen, and why would God allow this to happen? And some even say, why would God do this to you? I don't know whether He did it to me or not. He certainly is in control and has allowed it to be such. I cannot count how many folks have come up to me or spoken to me through one medium or another, and given me stories of how this has encouraged them and been able to bring them through hard times in their life, just the way that I've been dealing with it. And over the last year, with my mobility challenges, it started to get more and more difficult to be on the road. And over the last 6 to 8 months especially, getting around in the bus takes an incredible amount of energy. And then having to get on stage, getting off the bus to eat, getting back on the bus, just to stopping at a restaurant or having to go in and use a public restroom, things like that most folks just take advantage of, has become a major undertaking and a major chore for me being on the road. And it just got to the point where, yes, I could still sing, but the energy that I would expel getting from my house to the first stage, let alone the next stage and the one after that and the one after that, it's just gotten to the point where it's completely impractical. And I think if I want to keep doing this on a long-term basis, if the Lord allows me to be able to sing for a long period of time yet, I needed to slow down, let the guys hire a lead singer, and they were gracious enough to allow me to go along with them when I could. So I think in the interest of wanting to sing longer, I have to kind of limit how often I'm on the road with them, and that's really what led up to the very hard decision to make. Not the hardest decision I've ever made, but definitely one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. When we were putting together the Classics album, we being the Blackwood Brothers, of course, Billy came to all of us and asked, what different songs would we want to do for the album, and I'd Rather Have Jesus is a song that I have sung, for years with every group I've ever been with. And actually, it was the very first song I ever sang in front of people. My sister, Loretta, she wanted me to sing the song for a seniors group at our church that we were attending at the time. And she kind of had to push me into it. I did not want to get up and sing at all. But anyways, I don't know what she conned me with, food or whatever, I'm not sure what it was, but I got up and I sang it. And it being the very first song I ever sang, it being the very first song I ever sang, I also didn't realize it at the time, of course, but I believe it was the very last song that I ever sang for an audience with a full-time group, being the Blackwood Brothers. And I always challenge people that whatever it might be that you're putting in front of God at this particular moment in your life, leave it here at the church, at the building, wherever it is. And when you go home, take Him with you and leave whatever it is you are serving ahead of Him here. That's what the song means to me. And of course, lately, after I got sick, it meant an awful lot more to me. I was having a lot of problems. They had to move my chair out of the way and get me onto the bed. Leslie and my son Sam apparently lifted me up so that I could lay on the bed with my head on the pillow. And I was having so much trouble breathing. It seemed like hours that I was laying there trying to breathe and not able to. And about the time I started to wonder if this was it, the room started to fade out, and I saw just the most brightest light I've ever seen in my life, but it didn't hurt my eyes. It was just brilliantly bright. And as I was trying to figure out what that bright light was and where it was coming from, it started to part a little bit, and there was these beautiful colors that I was seeing, colors like I couldn't even describe, that I've just never seen colors like that, so vibrant, so beautiful, so bright. And there was what looked like people mulling around in behind, but they were so far away I couldn't see them. I couldn't see who they were, and I was straining and straining to see who they were, trying to get closer to them, and I really couldn't see who they were, but I just felt like I needed to find out. So as I was straining to see who these people were that were in amongst these beautiful, wonderful colors and this brilliant light, I felt a presence beside me, and as I looked over, I didn't have to guess who it was. It was Jesus standing right next to me, and I seen Him, and I looked into His eyes, and I was transfixed. I couldn't look away. And what He did was He smiled at me. He reached down with His hand and He touched my chest, and immediately I was able to breathe again. I took as many gulps for air as I needed that my body was craving so badly at the time that the first thing I could think of was to say thank you. And I looked at Him right in the eyes and I said thank you to Him. Just the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life. And if having this disease and the pain and the discomfort that goes along with it, boy, I would go through this or something 10 times worth to have that experience again. It was absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't give anything. I wouldn't give anything not to have had that experience. But I want to be here too. I want to be with my wife. I want to be with my family, my parents, my sisters. Man, if they could only have seen what I saw, there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. And there is nothing on this earth that's worth giving that up for. Nothing. There's not an experience. There's not a vehicle. There's not a house. There's not an impression to make to anybody on this earth that's worth giving what I saw up for.
I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be His than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus